Behind the Decks podcast, Submix Sessions with Ed Paterson.
Ladies and gentlemen, and people or living beings that identify as anything other than that, welcome along. This is Behind the Decks with myself, Ed Paterson, and my guest tonight is a very special guest with a long history within the music scene. This is Vas Selvaratnam. Have I got that right, Vas?
Yeah, so I'm Vas Selvaratnam. It's a Sri Lankan name. Vas is shortened for Varson. So there's a few people that call me by that just to tease me a little bit, but yeah, they get it right. But
Varson, or aka Nice Guy Vas.
Yes.
What a cool name to have. That's like a gangster name.
Yeah, and the other one I've got is the Vaccinator, so that was a reason.
Vaccinator. So, look, welcome to the show. It's a real pleasure to meet you. Just for the benefit of everyone listening, we had a quick chat on Zoom, and me and Vas have kind of connected through Codesouth FM, as you are a DJ on Codesouth. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later. What I want to do first of all, really, is just try and go right back to the beginning, from before you were a DJ. Yep. Maybe we can just have a quick chat about where you grew up and, you know, how your childhood was.
Sure, yeah. So I was born and bred in Brighton. And back then I think we were pretty much the only Sri Lankan family there, potentially. I guess being born in the late 70s, influenced by the music then, 70s, 80s, 90s and so on. And my dad was into his music as well. So what my dad did was he... like we do, we record music, but it was all put into groups as happy songs, sad songs, and then films and things like that. So he had a methodology, and I've got loads of cassettes that he used to do when he was like, you know, when you're watching a movie, he'll connect a stereo system and then he'll record the music and things like that. So I think a lot of that's influenced me into music and what he was doing. Very similar like when we used to listen to the radio shows and the top 40 be on and we were like, oh, let's get that song quick and then record it, because we couldn't afford to buy the music stuff, you know, LPs and things like that.
I remember doing that. I'm trying to get it at that very point, do you know what I mean, where it would go into the next tune and get in and out of it. They would always get stuck, wouldn't they? Always get chewed up. Were you one of these people that would sellotape the tape back together when it got chewed up, and you stick a pencil in it to twist it round? The young people won't know this kind of thing, will they?
No.
Cassettes.
Yeah.
So, were you, when you first started DJing, was that back in the days of vinyl and cassettes then?
Yes. So, say late 90s. So I guess 90s you had CDs, mini disc players. I've still got a mini disc player at home and things. But yeah, I started with vinyl. I think I've always wanted to do it at a very young age. But as always, parents go, well, what are you going to do from that and stuff? So during my primary school time, I got into musical instruments. So played flute for a little bit, played a bit of violin. Then I used to get rashes on my neck, you know, holding the violin and things. And then switched to the cello. And really enjoyed it, got the hang of it, did a few concerts at school, you know, in the assembly hall and things like that. Then I went to secondary school thinking I'm going to carry on, and if you imagine carrying a big cello to school and things on the bus, it was a big task, giving kids and stuff and messing about, but yeah, I looked after it and protected it. And I was thinking about this, I think the cello, it's really close to your heart and stuff, you can feel it and everything,
and it's quite bassy as well, so it travels through the body in that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. But unfortunately, when I got to secondary school, I did a few, and the teacher said, "Oh, you haven't really got quite the right fingers with the strings and everything." So
fat fingers,
needed fat fingers, chubby ends. So
it's not fair, is it?
No. I sulked. Went to my primary school, spoke to the teacher. I said, "I've been told this," and she didn't really give me any options, like, you know. Oh, don't worry about what they say, but it's very difficult because you need the teacher to be able to, you know, let you teach. So I had to stop playing, and then I went to trombone, did that for a little while, but it just wasn't the same, you know, for some reason. Obviously, there's a different way given its air and stuff, so having to practice all of that. But yeah, I just didn't quite, get the hang of it.
Do you know what? I always wanted to play the trombone.
Yeah.
When I was a young lad, I think it's because you can do that. With the slider.
Yeah.
But I remember being at school and doing trials for it.
Right.
And I could just about make a noise, and I think I probably would have been able to do it. But what happened is I got this weird feeling sort of in my ear when I was blowing.
Okay.
Which was really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a common thing or not. But
I know what you mean, behind the jawline.
Yeah, really weird feeling, and therefore I couldn't play, and I was gutted.
Okay. Yeah.
I was lucky enough that I learnt piano.
Okay.
And I was always told, well, it's the king of instruments because it's got every note on it.
Yeah.
So if you can learn the piano, you could probably write for any other instrument.
And I had electric organs, Yamahas and stuff. I think I've still got a couple in my house in the loft and stuff. So I think when I was young, I had those instruments as such. But, just messing about and playing with the buttons and choosing different things. So I think for a long period of my time from primary school and even probably younger, there's always been some sort of music influence and steered me in a particular direction. And like I say, I always wanted a DJ. And then at a young age, my dad was ill. He had a stroke sort of when I was about 13, something like that. So that was quite tough on the family and things. Before that, my mum was diagnosed with cancer, and we had a run of bad luck. So it's like my mum got attacked in London. A year later, she got diagnosed with cancer. Then obviously it was a struggle for the whole family. And then I think it was a year or two later that my dad had a stroke. And then it's like, right. So then obviously for our family to deal with all of that, and especially me at a young age, my sister was 4 years younger than me. My mum was the rock in the family to try and make sure we get some positivity in the place and everything. And obviously I started working. And when I started working, I was doing like 2 jobs a day. Work during the day, work in the evening and stuff, and then I took the courage to say, "Hey, Mum, can I buy these decks?" And she said, obviously knew I was working hard and everything, and I said, "You just need to lend me the money and I'll pay you back." So, 1999, I bought my first Technics, and I was fortunate enough to buy the 1200 Gold Limited Edition. So I went to a place called Orange Discotheque. I think they're Reading somewhere. I think. When I bought it, and they were my first decks. So
excellent.
Very privileged, honoured, and obviously it's a special thing that my mum gave me that opportunity, which still to my heart is, I've still got them and stuff. So that started my DJ career. I was a bit exploring with the vinyl side things because I wasn't quite understanding of genres and things like that. So there was loads of record shops in Brighton, a place called Dance 2 Records, and a few others that have helped me a little bit on the journey, because you take a record, you listen to it in your own time, and then I was like, I'm not feeling that, I'm feeling this, and slowly started to figure out what I wanted to play and things. But I was just practicing at home mainly, with as you do as a kid, you'll finish school or finish work or whatever, and you're like straight there on the decks.
So did you have a group of friends that were all into the same thing, or were you just like a lone ranger just trying to work
Lone
it all out
Ranger,
yeah.
But I think what you had was a lot of friends were interested as well, and if you think about trying to think what I was using you didn't really have much to look at. Nowadays you've got YouTube, the internet and everything like that. Didn't really have that. I didn't have a PC at home to sort of log in and go, all right, okay, I'm going to do a bit of research. So it's talk to others, and obviously it's the basics, count the 4 beats, 4 bars, blah blah blah, and then away you go. So there's a lot of trying to figure it out, and then there's a few people that were DJing as well. But yeah, a lot of it was practice. I think there was some DVDs that you could buy, so you watch that and stuff. I remember buying the DVD for Qbert to try and do scratching and things. But I think it's such a fundamental process that to just get that, I've got 2 records, let me beat match it, get it in sync, and then the cool thing when you're slightly adjusting, you've got that nice echo on it and things like that. And that's why sometimes, there's a few people I explain a bit of that process, because they've gone into the digital world and everything's there for you, and it's like, oh, this is even easier. So there's a few guys that I speak to, and I said, look, you come around my house, I'm going to cover everything and then use your ears, because the ears is so important to tune as such, so you can hear like, that's out and stuff. And
this is it. I mean, look, it's all very well doing key matching and beat matching on some equipment. I mean, I'm in two minds about it, because obviously, if you're not pressing a button to match your beats, all you're going to do is adjust the slider anyway.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what does it matter which way you do that?
Yeah.
But the point is, the electronic way of doing it now, the way that it grids where the beats are, so that it all comes in at the right time, isn't always correct.
No.
And if you don't know how to do it by ear, then you're just not going to be able to do it all the time, even with digital decks with all these fancy buttons and knobs, you know.
Yeah, I think like you say, there's sometimes people look at, well, there's a tool that's giving me and guiding me to do something, and then sometimes they think, oh, well, the tool's telling me that's the right way. And then they follow with it rather than saying, well, actually, sometimes, like you said, it's not quite correct. You've got to adjust it and things. And I think, like you said, I think you got to be careful sometimes if something doesn't work and you go to an event or you've been asked to come and play and stuff, and something that went, because I've sometimes had people go, well, why is that not doing this and why is it not doing that? And it's like, well, what do you mean? It's like, oh, I use this, I know you use that. And it's like, okay, I can't tell you that because I'm basics, you know, use the pitch and everything to, adjust the BPM, but any other functions that you're using to help you and guide you as an assistant, it's a bit like driving, right? The cars these days park for you and things like that. It sort of feels like you can be a little bit lazy as such. You're not aware of the road and things, whereas actually with the music and stuff, you use those aids, and I think there's a few people talked about it. Sometimes if you're trying to get a bit creative and stuff, then obviously use it. But I think sometimes if you're just using that as your basis, then actually it's like, come on, just learn those basics. And if you've got an understanding of that, then you're going to have a good conversation with people as well.
Exactly, yeah. Okay, so look, you talked a little bit about machinery that does things for you. So I've asked this question to a few people, but what do you think about the old AI and what? I mean, I've had this crazy theory, and I did a radio show about it, that we're probably nearly at the stage where you don't need to have anyone in a club playing music as a DJ. If you had, for example, some facial recognition software in your venue that can read the people that are walking into it, that can then latch on to their socials, see what they like, they might be able to recognise how somebody's feeling. They might see them smiling, or they might see somebody that's not so happy. But they can do this throughout the evening.
Yeah.
So all that needs to happen is that an AI feeds a tune based on all of those stats on all the people that they know are in that club, and then feed the music that they know that's going to be relative to them, that's going to make them react because it knows that they listen to that music, and also monitor how they're reacting to it throughout the evening, and can control the evening just by looking at how human beings are behaving, and having access to that background to them. I mean, as much as that's scary and probably a bit of a way out thought, really. I mean, will it really happen? I guess I've said it. Every time I think of something new, somebody's already done it, yeah? Every time. So I'm pretty sure it's in the process somewhere.
Yeah.
That's quite scary, isn't it?
It is. And I think if I think about my journey in music, people want to see the energy. And I get a lot of people saying, I can see you're passionate about the songs you play, the energy you give, and it rubs off, and then you connect with that people. And also when you play stuff, what you said about AI, I'm doing that analysis as such. I'm looking at, they like that sort of music, because I can see their feet moving or their head moving. Mm-hmm. And I was taught that to observe everybody's behaviour when you're playing something, because you got to cater for everyone, and if you could touch them, it's so powerful. I love the feedback I get. I've done a few events at Fatboy Slim's Big Beach Cafe.
Wow.
And we call it Sunset Vibes. Stevie B's been doing it for a couple of years, and literally I was playing some stuff, and and you got a mixture of crowd, older, younger, family, staff. And literally there's 10 minutes of me just playing some really chilled stuff. A lady came and said, "You've just made my day. I've had a bit of a crap day. Things have not been great. And just by the music you've played, you've made, turned things around and stuff." And that's a very impactful human interaction.
Tactile, isn't it?
Yeah. So I think with AI, it's like, I think the bars and stuff will have some of that. I've seen some bars that have got a jukebox. You can have an app, you can choose your music, and it'll put it in a sequence of order of people request and stuff. But I think you still need that human interaction.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you're ever going to lose that, are you?
No.
It's just scary that can happen, but
Yeah.
I totally agree. And yeah, I mean, I have a slight issue with reading the old room. Yeah. That's that I need to wear these really thick glasses to see the decks, and when I look up, I can't see anybody else.
But I think you'll see. I think people's movements. That I think that's the thing in the old school time. You just had music. Yeah, you got some lights and things, and obviously visualization has gone so much now, and everyone's like, "Wow, I need to make it spectacular and stuff." And I think a lot of people think, "Oh, is that a bit too much?" And then some of the DJs are a bit full on and stuff, and it's like, "Do you really need to do that?" And some of it's really great. Some of the visualization that people are doing and very clever stuff.
The problem is this, right? I spoke to Phil Abel about this because he's been on the podcast.
Yeah.
And he was saying how he doesn't want to get big. And I was like, why? And he said, well, why would you want to get to the point where you can't just DJ? Because you're on a stage that's got lights that are set in stone that they're just playing out mixes that are pre-recorded. And all these big artists that, that's what they're doing. You're going to lose that art of DJing.
Yeah.
And people don't do it for that reason, just to go and mime on top of a stage. As much as it looks, I would love to. I always had this dream of doing a gig with like UFOs coming down above me, all these lasers and all this crazy stuff, which can be done now quite easily with all these special effects on a big stage. But would I want that to happen and go and stand up there and just dance with everybody else and pretend that I'm actually playing the set? So, you've done big gigs, haven't you?
I've done some. The biggest one I've done was in Russia in 2000 and when was it? 2000 or 2? Yeah, 2000.
Yeah, tell us this story because you won a competition, didn't you?
Yeah. So other than DJ, I'm a bit of a car fanatic and boy racer back in the days, and down at Brighton, Madeira Drive and things like that. And we were part of a really cool car club called Sussex Cars, and it was very popular and everything. So wherever we had events, I was DJing at those events. I was doing my garage, bit of house. A friend of mine was doing a bit of drum and bass and things. And as we went through time with Sussex Cars, we had a sponsorship deal with Castrol. So they were sponsoring us, and we were branding and everything and things like that. And there was a journalist who would come to some of these events, and literally he spoke to my friend who was running the car club and said, "Oh, I'm looking for a DJ. Do you know anyone?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, speak to Vas." So the guy literally rang me and said, "Right, this is what you're going to be doing." And I was like, "Sorry, can you put that in an email? I'm trying to just process, free flights. You're flying to Russia, all expenses paid for."
So let's just say this the festival was called Fort Dance Festival.
That's it. Yep.
In Petersburg.
St. Petersburg. Yep.
In Russia.
Yeah.
How old were you?
20s, early 20s.
And all of a sudden you'd been doing a bit of DJing, and all of a sudden you found yourself on a huge stage with a load of really big stars.
Yeah.
Who was on that stage with you?
So I was with Jeremy Healy, Lottie, Above and Beyond. Leroy from Prodigy was the one for me because I idolised him as a dancer and everything, and watched his and that got me into the music as well. So a friend of mine got me into Prodigy and the experience and everything. So I was there, and I remember sitting in this table, and I was just like, "Am I really here?" And they're like, "Oh, what do you do? Where are you from? What do you DJ and stuff?" And I'm like, "You guys are like mega superstars," but they were really down to earth and really nice.
So you didn't pretend you were a mega superstar too, and they just didn't know who you were?
I was just too, starstruck as such. Jeremy Healy was there and stuff, and then obviously editors of the magazines, DJ Mag, Mix Mag, iDJ, and things like that. So I was just blown away by the whole experience, and what was interesting, you got the mainland, which is where the main festival is, and then you got this another place which is like a moat. and they were trying to figure out when I was going to play, and then it's like, oh, we'll figure it out. Come on, let's go to the thing. And the way DJs go is on a boat, a little speedboat. People carrying my record box, and I was just like, oh my god, what's going on? In the magazine, there's some pictures, and obviously journalists, explore stuff. What there is people swim across. So there's people near enough half naked and stuff, and the journalist goes, "Come on, get your clothes off." I was like, "What?" He's like, "Come on, we need to get you in the picture, so you're part of the group, sort of thing." I was like, "No, I'll keep my boxers on. I'll do the rest." So there's a picture of me in the magazine and stuff, and obviously there's rocks and everything, and people got cuts, and they're literally pouring vodka on this moat, which is like VIP, you could say. And then Lottie kindly gave me 20 minutes to play, and I made a big impact. So I played Sweet Harmony, which I played 20 minutes, but just that one tune in all the magazines. So they said, "Oh, there's this bedroom DJ from Brighton. He played, and then he played Sweet Harmony, and he just went crazy."
It's a cool tune,
and an all-time favourite for me. Still touches me. But yeah, to be able to make an impact, and then I think over the years when I've bumped into a few people, it's like, "Oh, do you remember Fort Dance?" And like, "Yeah, dude," and stuff. So
how many thousands did you play to? And do you know?
I can't remember what it quoted, 50,000 or something.
Wow, 50,000 people.
So or something like that. So I don't know what it was like in the moat, but yeah, there was some serious numbers of people there.
So how did it feel to have 50,000 people like responding to your music?
Well,
how did you cope with that?
In Russia, you get given a bottle of vodka,
and that's how you cope.
And that's took me on the journey of drinking neat vodka as well. So
really?
I'm a big fan of vodka, and got the acquired taste, and fussy on what I'm drinking and stuff. So literally, you got a bottle there, so just sipping away, calming the nerves. And obviously, I was on vinyl as well. So
yeah.
But I think once your nerves calm, and then everyone was supporting me and things and stuff, you just go for it. And I did. Obviously, I took a load of records because I wasn't sure how long I was playing or what do I play, but yeah, just went for it. And yeah.
So did you get like when you were playing, and probably afterwards as well? I mean, I've been at gigs where I've felt the energy from people.
Yeah.
Given, and I remember going to Glastonbury, and I ended up. I mean, I'd been there for about 4 or 5 days, and we'd had a whale of a time. But we ended up in a Hare Krishna tent. Right. It was this big, 15-piece funk band playing, and they were all dressed in yellow. And there was this guy who had the most amazing voice. He was like this soul-y voice, and he caught my eye. I was just having a bit of a dance around near the doorway because it was packed, and we'd just walked in. I was just having a bit of a dance around, and I was like, "Wow, this is awesome!" Yeah, everybody was buzzing, and this guy looked at me. We caught eye, and he took his hands from his heart and he thrust his heart at me, if you know what I mean, with his hands. And it was like he was just throwing me this energy. Yeah. And I literally felt it, I felt a little bit overwhelmed. It was really stunning. It was just like a buzz that I've never experienced before, and an energy that somebody just gave me. Yeah. And I guess when you're playing in front of 50,000 people, there's a lot of people trying to give you that energy.
And you feel it, right?
Yeah.
You see it. I think...
How do you come down off that?
I was just... I didn't know what to say. And then obviously everyone's treating me like some superstar DJ. And some of the pictures show that. And then I had this top, and I've still got the tops where everyone signed it and stuff and things like that. So, I was right up there, and I was still like, what's going on and things. And then when I came back, it was so surreal. It was like, I saw you in the magazine. I was just sitting in the plane, and I was flicking through, and then there you were and stuff. So, the buzz from the aftermath of it, and then I was still talking to some of the promoters out there, and they said, "Oh, it'd be great to have you back, and maybe do a bit of radio and stuff and things." So yeah, it was 2003, I think it was. And then my friend said, "You've got to ride the wave now. You've got this great opportunity. You're in the magazines. All of the magazines are talking about you. You got to maximise it and stuff."
So what did you do next then? What happened next?
Unfortunately, I didn't do a lot as such because I get a bit nervous and things like that. But unfortunately, I think it was, trying to think, a few months later, unfortunately, my mum passed away. which is a big impact to my life. And obviously, as I said, my mum was the one that gave me the opportunity to take that leap into, be giving me the opportunity to buy the decks and everything. And that really hit me hard. So then, fortunately, I couldn't ride that wave. It sort of felt like I hit a rock, and it was like, oh, stop, sort of thing. So
there's one thing you can't control in life. I mean, you can control some things by keeping fit and that kind of thing. But you know, at some point in life, everybody that you know is going to be poorly in some way and eventually die. Yeah. And it's a really hard thing to deal with, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the only thing with my mum is, despite she went through all of that, she managed to keep a positive attitude of life. And I used to have a go at her because she was always off somewhere. She used to drag my dad to see family and stuff, because you go through chemotherapy and then it's like, right, I need to live life. And it was always inspiring still for me. I'm like, no matter what's going on, just keep positive, make sure you do it. And she lived life to the max. Like, I look back and I think, wow, and things. And she always see people. And I said, no, you're the one poorly. They should come and see you and things like that. And then I think because she was the rock for the family, because my dad was poorly, my sister was young, so she was struggling with everything that was going on. When she left, it was like, oh, where's the person that supports us all? And there's always a person that brings everyone together. So that was a real tough process for me, and obviously I've been a carer for 30 years and stuff, and caring. And I think also the struggle I had with my dad was that he was a bit of an arsehole, if I could say, because he was frustrations and things, because as a man, when you've got a disability and stuff and you can't help your family and things, it's quite frustrating. So despite the clashes we had, and all I did was want to help him and get him through his day to day, it was a real struggle and stuff. And as time went by, he then had kidney failure that put a toll on my caring to then do dialysis at home and things. And I always talk about a story when I got out clubbing, because I managed to find out a way to run him on the machine. I used to have a little iPad to keep an eye if the alarm's going off, and then look at my phone so I could enjoy life, because
that's amazing.
24/7 if the alarm's going off, you had to go in and stuff. Just took its toll me. I hit rock bottom. So managed to do that, and then used to sit at after parties and think, and everyone goes, well, what you all doing today? Oh, I'm going to just chill out and recover and everything. And when I told people that, I'm going to go home, and in a couple of hours I've got to disconnect from my dad from my dialysis machine, I had a friend who couldn't comprehend it. He was literally in tears, and I said, honestly, mate, I've got a big smile on my face. I'm cool as anything. I just get on with it. And he just wouldn't compute. So he had to leave the party and then the house, because we were all chatting. And I was even messaging him after, said, honestly, right, despite what I've been through, you'd know if I was struggling, I'd be like breaking into tears and things like that. I'm cool with it. I get on with it. I know what I need to do. I'll disconnect my dad, make sure he's up and ready. He knows how to do his breakfast because he's pretty independent. I'll go to bed, recover, and things like that. So I think a lot of times I talk to people about, what I've been through and stuff, and they're like, I didn't realise you did that and stuff. And I'm not there to really talk about it. Obviously, I'm talking about it now, but the idea is when I see people is to give that, positive energy, big smile on my face, and it just helps. Like, we're talking about connection and music and stuff. You do it through the music, or you do it and you feel that energy from people as well. I've got a good range of friends and stuff that have been supportive over the years. Stood by me, did what I needed to help me as I could. But a lot of it was on my own. I need to figure it out myself. So
positivity is an amazing thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it does get you through. When my ex-sister-in-law, who was 10 years old, got a brain tumour and they tried to cut it out. Yeah. When they put the section of the skull back into her head, they didn't seal it properly, and a lot of the fluid, the brain fluid, seeped into the wrong side of the skull.
Right.
So her forehead turned into like if you imagine a balloon. And if you push the balloon in with your hand, it squishes in.
Yeah.
So that's what happened to her head. So basically, her whole head was full of like brain fluid. Okay. But we used to have a laugh about it. I mean, if you saw it and looked at it, you'd be horrified and terrified. Yeah. But when you spend 3 months in a children's ward and seeing a lot of young kiddies that are that are really suffering, and seeing some of them die and stuff. You know, you go home one day and then you come back the next and they're gone, and they're just, you know, little kids. They've got their whole lives ahead of them, and they all they've known is this struggle with cancer and this illness and this pain and the uncomfortableness of treatment and poisoning themselves to try and survive. And the only way to get through that is to have a laugh.
Yeah.
So we used to squeeze our foreheads into her head. Right. It was really weird. Such a weird feeling, but we used to laugh about it. You know, it's things like that. You just have to keep you just got to keep your positivity up.
You need that light humour at times. I think sometimes I've been doing it. Sometimes I've a bit of an awkward situation, and I've done it even through work. Sometimes there's a serious situation, and I once remember I made a bit of I was laughing about it because it's everyone's like, "Oh no, what are we gonna do?" and stuff. Panic. It's like, whoa, come on, let's get there. And obviously my manager then, or one of the senior managers, like, "You're not taking this seriously" and stuff. And it's like, I am taking this seriously, but I'm trying to make sure I'm calm and stuff, because it does, when you're in a tricky situation. If I think about how a lot of people said, how did you do it? You know, 30 years of it, you know, going in and out of hospital, seeing ups and downs and things. And you just did, you know, I managed to get through it. I think I managed to get the balance right. I think, you know, doing my music, cars, friends and stuff. Because if I didn't have that figured out, that balance, I would have probably given up, you know, a long time ago and things like that. So
you have to have an escape, don't you? I think for me, music has always been an escape. So I learned to play piano when I was 10 years old. Luckily, I mean, it's the only thing that kept me sane throughout my whole life. I think it really helped me at school. The only lesson I did well in at school was music, and they realised that I didn't do it. I wasn't a good student, let's say. I got expelled from school. I got suspended, you know, and I was a lost cause, really. But they used to let me just get on with it. They used to let me sit in one of their sound rooms with a keyboard and just make sounds. And I used to turn up for my music lessons, you know. And then later on in life, it definitely has become, for me, the place where I go. If there's anything going on that either I can't be bothered to deal with, or I just can't deal with at this time, and I need to escape, I can shut off everything when I'm either playing music or writing music. So for me, it's an escape. It's a therapy.
100%.
But what's so, like, I think wonderful about it is that you can also help other people in the same way as it's helping you. It's slightly different because you're the one in control of what you're doing, but, you know, for people to listen to you, and it's similar to what you said when people come up to you and say, "Wow, that was great, and you put me in a good mood today."
It's sort of how do I say? You're not touching them or hugging them and stuff. You're doing it through sounds, what you're controlling and playing and stuff. And I think it's, like I say, it's really powerful. And like I say, I don't expect feedback and stuff and things, but to see people's faces and smiling and stuff, and even at the end of the night, it's like I needed this. Or, you know, like that time at Big Beach Cafe, you know, somebody said, "Look, I had a really shit day. I was just sitting here, nice, beautiful day, but actually what you played just touched me in a particular way." That made me go, wow. And just, it's that I have it with certain people in my life that just have this way of just making you go, and it just, that pain and, you know, emotions that you're going through because you're having a bit of a bad day and stuff just instantly goes. And it's, you do that through the music, or, you know, been talking to someone, even when you're talking, you know, the sound that you're coming out of your voice and stuff. There's, like, you know, I guess like a child, you know, your mother, you know, cradling you and giving yourself, you know, when you're crying and stuff. It's that comfort, and yeah, music is a big thing, I think, as well.
Yeah, it's connection. It's vibrations, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's vibration. I do often waffle on about it, so I'm tempted not to say anything about it, because I'm pretty sure I have in every podcast so far. But right. It's that control. It's creating a vibration from nothing, right? A vibration turns into a sound. And then it's controlling that sound, connecting that over to the person that receives it, and then their brain interprets it and then creates an emotion to it, and then has a chemical reaction, endorphins and all that kind of jazz, all kicks in. So what you're actually doing, you're not just making somebody feel happy because they like the music. You're creating a chemical reaction in somebody from what you project through the vibrations you're putting out there that are amplified. Wow, that is magic.
Yeah.
Is it not? That is magic. How else do you do that? I mean, like you say, the other it's to do with senses, isn't it? Yeah. And going back to the old AI thing, if you take away the DJ, you've took away one of the senses, haven't you?
Yeah.
The visual sense of that connection to what's happening with the music. Nobody wants to look at a computer and hear that music, do they? They want to watch and see somebody physically, especially with vinyl, mixing it, scratching it, you know, chopping and changing with your faders.
I like even today when I take a vinyl out, just the difference in feeling versus when you're doing digital stuff. And digital, it's more, you know, when the music plays stuff, but with vinyl, it's that taking and holding something. And you know, if you think about music, we talked about cassettes and everything. How do I say it? The engineer of how did you get someone's voice in a digital way and put it on this, you know, brown tape or the vinyl and stuff? Even the vinyl's like crazy. It's just a bit of plastic and its frequencies going up and down. And I think sometimes people there's a lot of people fascinated by it, and you know, still I am fascinated, but I think it's just it's unbelievable what we've got today and things. And like you say, I think even like with musical instruments, there's a lot of groups and bands doing orchestral events, like Pete Tong's you know, does the Ibiza Classics and things, to show that yes, music's made digitally, but fundamentally there's a physical instrument as such that's playing the music there.
Yeah, definitely.
Subscribe, share, and turn it up. Behind the Decks with Ed Paterson, where DJs drop the beat and the truth.
Right, I'm going to fast forward in a little bit, and we'll talk about what's happening now. Because eventually you started DJing again. But you're also going to give us some mixes to play out. Have you made them yet?
Not quite.
So we can't talk about what you're doing yet then, can we?
So it'll be a bit of a surprise.
Okay.
I think what I was thinking in this conversation we've had and about mix is, if you think about my musical journey, I wanted to make sure I brought in some tracks into that mix so that people go, you know, the garage, the disco house, the soulful house, you know, the funky house and the jacking house and things. Try and do a mixture like 90s stuff even, just in a way, and I need to sort of a little bit figure that out. But
yeah, I think like when I might just play this out to people. It's quite interesting. This is how we work it out, everybody. What we're going to do. This is all behind the scenes, behind the decks. Yeah, I think what I want people to get from your mix is something about you.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, you've got certain genres that you play for a start.
Yeah.
You know, it's going to be a very different mix what you do to somebody that I interview that does drum and bass.
Yeah.
And obviously you hear the mini mixes on the big radio stations and stuff like that, which are all very quick.
Yeah.
You know. So I know it's a bit of a challenge, because I was thinking to myself earlier, actually, when I was thinking about it, I wonder what you'll provide to me. I was thinking, what would I do? Because I get really confused about what genres I like, because I like most of them. And I find I struggle to narrow it down. You've probably seen on my mix card, I've got drum and bass mixes, I've got a couple of garage mixes, not many, main house mixes, techno mixes, loads of different genres.
Yeah.
The last show I did on Codesouth was all the old 90s, sort of Orbital, Aphex Twin. There was loads of you know, all the 90s stuff.
Yeah.
Amorphous Androgynous. Do you remember that album? If you don't, I'm going to send it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to send. I think that's how it's pronounced. But a load of old stuff that I really got into, and that's what I last played on Codesouth, and it was the first time that I felt comfortable with what I was doing, because it was where I came from.
Yeah.
Rather than me just trying to put together a mix which I think everybody wants to listen to, which everybody's doing already anyway. Yeah. There's loads of house DJs, isn't there?
Yeah, I think like you said, it's when you play a certain genre of music, people get a sense that you know that, or you've been through that experience. I think, I've talked mainly about house, but I was into dubstep, I was listening to jungle, hip hop, R&B, bit of Nirvana, Guns N' Roses, and all. There's been so much music over the years that I've listened to, and sometimes I feel like, I should be still dipping into those genres as well. Listen to a bit of Guns N' Roses, Nirvana, and all that.
What was the best gig you ever went to?
That's a real tough one.
Or name a few of the best you've ever been to.
Florence and the Machine.
Oh, really?
Florence. There's something about vocals that touches me. Tracy's Chapman Fast Car makes me cry.
Yeah.
Just, and it comes back to that sound element. Florence's voice is just wow. Get goosebumps and everything. And I saw her live and stuff at the Brighton Centre. So I think there's some people with really powerful voices that just connect with you quite instantly. And there's for a lot of people there's a lot of emotions and things like that. So I've seen others, but it's mainly DJs and things.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a bit more. I want to do live concerts. UB40, I think, is playing this year at some point. And a friend of mine said, I know you like UB40. So, UB40 is something I listen to. Phil Collins. So there is quite a lot, I've only just sort of scratched the surface. But if I start to dig in deeper, there's actually quite a lot of other stuff that I really like.
That you'd like to go and see?
Yeah.
I was a bit gutted that I missed Prince.
Okay.
When he played at the Hop Farm here, I don't know when it was. It wasn't 1999. But yeah, he played at a Hop Farm, maybe 10 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
And then it was just before he died.
Right.
But it was really cheap tickets, and I knew it was happening, and I didn't go and get the tickets.
Yeah.
I always wanted to see Prince live, but I missed the opportunity.
Glastonbury, we're just thinking about it. Glastonbury couldn't explain it. First time I ever went, weather was beautiful, very fortunate, and I remember we were parked up and I went over the hill and I saw it and I was like, wow. And I think I saw Rag and Bone, and it was just, again, euphoric. And I think even for what was good to see was even the performers were like blown away, because I think the presence of a crowd, you can feel the energy just when people are just standing there.
It's a crazy place, isn't it? So that must have been fairly recent then, if you saw it.
It's quite a few years back. I'm trying to think when it was now, because most of the time it's always raining, isn't it? So
when I've been twice.
Okay.
Right, and it was blazing hot heat waves.
Okay.
Both times.
Okay.
Yeah. I knew some New Age travellers.
Okay.
And some hippies. And my cousin lived in this house with some sort of New Age hippies, who I'm still in touch with. In fact, a lot of the people that lived there are my bestest friends ever. Right. I think I'll always stay in touch with them.
Yeah.
But I knew this New Age traveller who had an old Dennis fire engine. The real old types, like those green ones that you get now, that come out every now and again when there's no other fire engines. My first experience of going to Glastonbury, I didn't pay for.
Right.
So we went in the back of the fire engine, which had windows, but we had drum kits and stuff like that all piled up against the windows, and we knew a pyrotechnic circus, and they all travelled about in big red fire engines. So we would meet up with them, and they would forge us a vehicle pass, and we would just turn up late. Right. And so that's what we did, and we did quite a lot of festivals like that.
Yeah.
And we would drive straight into the perimeter of the actual festival, and then set up DJs and bands on top of the fire engine. And sell veggie burgers out the back.
Oh, really?
My first night of Glastonbury, off I went to experience Glastonbury, and the first thing I experienced after wandering sort of just for a little while was this huge fire procession. It was like a burning the Wicker Man type thing.
Right.
And I'd never seen anything like that. That was quite bizarre.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure I got completely lost, and I probably found my mates a couple of days later, but we went at the very beginning, so it was before it was open for the punters, you see.
Okay.
So we were there for a week before the 3 days.
Okay.
So you really had a chance to get into it, and all that was really going, but every night it was going, was a dance tent.
Right.
And that's all I cared about.
Yeah. I was always at the dance tent, because the guys were like, we need to pace ourselves, and I was like, nah. I used to have a 2-litre bottle of vodka lemonade, JD and Coke 2-litre bottle, rucksack. They were like chilling out. I said, nah, I'm off to the dance. I'll be there. When you finish, come and meet me there. And then I always loved going to Shangri-La.
Okay, yeah.
Always there, and then finish up, come back. And then the last day was on the hill, which a friend of mine took me to see the sunrise, and I was just like, wow, that's just topped off my Glastonbury trip.
I literally sat at the top of that hill. That's the Peace field, isn't it?
Yeah.
I sat at the top of there, and I could see the electricity running through the electric wires in the distance. It was one of those. And I also had an experience where I laid down. There was one morning when the sun was coming up, all the didgeridoo players of the festival gathered in the field and played didgeridoo together.
Okay.
I've never experienced anything quite like it. I laid down on the floor, and I had about 6 or 7 didgeridoos being played over me. And that, it comes back to that old vibration thing. I've never felt anything like that. I've never felt anything like it again since. And there was just one triangle player.
Right.
And I'd never seen triangle played like this before. It was amazing what he could do. Seriously, I had this new admiration for anybody that can play the triangle. It's an amazing place. It's massive, isn't it?
Yeah. Like you watch it on telly, and then when you're there, it's just like, wow. And I think that's the thing about, I was thinking like, that positive energy that you just emit, right? And then everyone's in a good place, everyone's happy. Like when you do music events, you can see everyone's happy. And I think even with music events, when you've got the right crowd, right people, and the right music, everyone goes, wow, that was an amazing gig. When you're going to do the next one and things like that. I think some of the, some of the other places where it's not quite there for the music, they're there just for the VIP area and drinks and stuff and things. Creates a bit of an imbalance of the energy and the vibe in there, and I think sometimes you can just sense it, and that's when people started arguing with each other and stuff, and there's that negative energy a little bit in there.
Yeah, because it brings class into it, doesn't it? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? It's about who can afford that now, and that's not what it's about. No. When I went years ago, I mean, I went a couple of times, it was kind of pre-commercialism. It was just starting to get commercial. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But there was still quite a lot of really out there things, and it wasn't about those big chart-topping bands on the Pyramid stage, you know. Yeah. Although there was. I mean, I saw Rage Against the Machine on the Pyramid stage at Glastonbury, and that was quite an experience, to be fair. Yeah. And it's that vibe, and it's the way everybody is. Everyone's buzzing, man. Yeah. Everyone's buzzing, loving life. Yeah. Yeah.
Behind the Decks, hosted by Ed Paterson.
Right, okay, so let's talk about what happened next. So, you play on the Brighton club circuit, clubs like the Zap, Ocean, Honey Club, The Escape, Midnight Blues.
Yeah, I got the opportunity because a friend of mine called Lee Littleman was doing various events, and he actually gave me the name of Nice Guy Vas. And so back then I was playing garage, because garage was very early UK garage scene. I was influenced when I used to take my mum to London because all the underground radio stations. So when I was driving up and take her to London, because she used to get Chinese herbal medicine recommended for a friend, so we go and see my cousins and then my mum there. So I was influenced by that. So I played quite a bit of garage in those early days, and garage was quite still underground, but it was much bigger scene in London and things. So yeah, got the opportunity to play in a lot of venues in Brighton. Great experience. And then I sort of switched into house music and sort of played at sort of some of these places and things. And then I sort of stopped. And then a few people said, "Oh, you need to come back, get back playing, get back." And I said, "Oh, not quite feeling it." And various things were going on in life, with family stuff and things. And I just had this moment where I was out and about, and I heard this. I just started listening to music in a different way and experiencing it in a different way. And I was like, "Oh, I need to get back into DJing." And the nerves and everything. And I've had a lot of great friends around me to say, "Come on, mate, you can do this. You can do this." And then I was like, okay, go on, gotta do it. Adam Bang tidy the radio show and stuff. He said, "Come on, why don't you go on a Codesouth? And actually, why don't you come on one of my shows and have a mix until you get a feel so you can calm those nerves?" So I'm very grateful for the people around me that just gave me that encouragement and stuff, because I guess my mum was that encouragement, to go and do something and give me that opportunity to pursue, rather than, my dad was like, nah. And then obviously my dad could see that, I was passionate about it. But I think because I had a good job and everything, he was like, okay, cool, you can do that stuff. I was a bit of a car nut, so it was like, he's happy. But the last couple of years, it's just been, I'm very grateful for everyone I've met and people, and it comes back to the energy you have. I think you've got to be humble, respectful. And when you connect with people, they're like, oh, we want that energy. Why don't you come play with us and things like that. And I think the word sort of gets spread around. I think a lot of people said, oh my God, you're here, they're there. And it's like, oh yeah, I'm very grateful of it and enjoying it. I think you've got to be a little bit careful that you don't burn out as such, depending on what you're doing. If you're DJing, then drinking and extra and all that stuff, then it will take a toll and stuff. But I think over the years, I was drinking quite a bit in the first year because I was nervous, playing in front of people, because we're all scrutinising other DJs and listening, or always slightly out and things. But then, in the recent year and stuff, I was like, right, I need to calm down. And the thing, I think a lot of people being sober and stuff, they're starting to experience it in a different way, and things. I know we all have anxiety and nerves, and that's normal. I think there was a saying by someone about, what you're feeling is normal for a performer and things.
Absolutely, everybody gets nervous, don't they? It doesn't matter what you do. If you're performing, you'll get. If you're not, you're probably not passionate enough about it.
Yeah,
I had an experience once because I trained as an actor. Where I forgot my lines on the stage, and it was on the main stage at Chichester Festival Theatre with 1,500 people watching. And I had there was quite a big cast, but there was quite a lot of people on stage as well. But I had such a speech. It was a Civil War epic. And I was supposed to be announcing that this army was marching from Portsmouth to take over the city of Chichester. I was playing the governor of Chichester.
Right.
And in the middle of this proclamation that I was delivering, totally forgot what I was saying. And I don't know how. I mean, I practiced it so many times. I knew it I knew the whole thing off by heart. I had various different monologues, and I can't tell you today why I had that block, what caused that block or what, I don't know. It just happened. But in that point, I felt this buzz. It was from my feet upwards. It was like a head rush, but it was my whole body. And it was almost like an out-of-body experience because I could kind of see myself. I don't know how to explain it. But this buzz came through me. It was a complete panic, I guess, really. But there was nobody there that in the right way could deliver me any lines to help me out or anything. Right. And I just made something up. And I got off the stage as quick as I could. And held my head in my hands. And I remember the stage manager, she had this little ointment which is supposed to make you feel a bit calm. And she told me to stick my tongue out and put that on. It's probably nothing, and it tasted horrible, but it's probably just a distraction tool. But nerves. I mean, that's uncontrollable. It just happened. But mostly, if you feel nervous, that's the beginning of the energy that you're putting out, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's also important to share that a little bit with others, because we're so composed. I think about work at times. People go, "Oh, you're so composed and you're fine and stuff." I said, "Oh, in the inside, it's all sorts going on," and it's same with DJing or singing and things like that. And I think it's important to share that, because I think when people are starting to enter the music scene, they get a bit nervous and things, and it's important to connect with people to reassurance. There's a few people I play with closely, and sometimes I'm a bit like, oh, am I being a bit direct with them, and then I'm apologetic, but all I'm doing is explaining what my experience is, so they can pick up on it and take some elements of it on board, so that helps them on their journey. And a little bit of that reassurance, right? We all want that reassurance, like, go on, mate. Oh, you messed up the mix, don't worry about it. It all happens. We'll have a wobbly moment of DJing it. But I think one of the things I said to a friend was that when there's an error going on, as long as you're addressing that error and they can see you're doing that, fine. There's respect in that. I think we talked about, if you use sync and things like that, and you realise it's not doing, you're just going, hey, this is great. It's like, unfortunately, the respect is not there, because it's like, well, we can know there's a problem.
Yeah.
I
can hear it. Like there's a local DJ. I'm not going to say who it is or where it is, but there's a DJ that I know who's a vinyl DJ. I quite like some of his stuff that he plays. Every now and again, his mix in is just non-existent. In fact, it's dissonant against it's out of time and it's just not right. It doesn't flow. And I think you're a really good DJ, mate, but you obviously don't care about what you're doing enough, because you wouldn't just let that happen. All right, we all have accidents and stuff. It's obviously just not concentrating enough, or doesn't know the record well enough to know how that starts, or something. There's something going on that makes that happen. And as a listener, not even really listening, probably just having a few drinks with some friends in the background, but I hear it straight away, like that.
Yeah, I think there's been a few people say that, you know, you're not a jukebox or you're not a playlist and stuff, and yeah, you can play, you know, if you do party gigs and stuff, you make, you know, you can earn decent money and things like that, and it's dropping one tune to the other and stuff, but there's still a difference of somebody just playing songs because they know that's what I like, than someone playing songs and actually enjoying those songs and playing it. And then I was trying to think, I've forgotten what I was going to say.
And mixing it as well, with that passion and with that care, isn't it?
Yeah. I think the other thing I was quite keen to understand about, like you said, about you can hear it and stuff. I was at the Brighton Music Conference last year, and we were outside Tempest Bar, and we heard the music, and this guy came and said, "It doesn't sound right." I said, "No, it doesn't sound right at all." And he literally went over to the mixer, adjusted a few knobs, and just made it crisp. And I was like, "Wow!" Yeah. And I think sometimes people get a bit carried away with the volumes and controls that they've got, and not quite hearing that actually you got too much treble, you got too much bass and stuff. And I think that's something I'd like to, you know, evolve my hearing. It's like, yes, I've been involved with music and stuff, but like you said, I could listen to something, you listen to it, and then you're like, oh, I can see something just slightly, just tweak it a tiny bit, and then you'll finesse it.
Yeah.
So.
But we all make mistakes. So, I mean, I can't be judgmental like that at all. I've made loads of mistakes, especially I've only been doing it a year. So I've learned to DJ on 3 different types of kit now. Okay. And they're all slightly different. Yeah. You know, I've got my DJ FLX4, which is perfect for in here at home in my studio. But when I had to go to Codesouth and transfer over to the Pioneer, it's similar, but some of the things are totally different. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And then I've been doing some gigs with Alex Purcell, who's also a Codesouth DJ. Yeah. We've been doing back-to-back gigs. Cool. And he's got a set of Denons. They've only got one screen on one side, and the other one's over there, and it's not got anything on it. And all the buttons are different. And also what I've found with all the different types of kit is it's how to cue in your music to give yourself that 4-beat or 8-beat or 16-beat loop to start off. They're all different. All different ways of doing it. Alex has got, is it Alex's or is it the Codesouth? I can't remember. One of them's got a touch screen where you can select how many bars and you have to touch it. Oh, the other one's got, anyway, they're all different, aren't they? Yeah. And so I'm making loads of mistakes. But that's how you learn, isn't it? Yeah. But the one thing I do when I know if I for example done an Ashdown radio show and I've stumbled on what I was saying, because I pretty much know what I'm going to say before I say it. Or if I get somebody's name wrong, or if I've just got a fade wrong or something like that, or just something happens, the first thing you do is come home and I speak to the missus, who generally listens, not all the time, but she does listen to my shows. So she'll say, "Oh, great show," and I'll go, "Oh yeah, but you know this," but she didn't notice. No. And she doesn't care. Yeah. And also the production manager at Ashdown, when I first started, said you'll soon learn that things don't have to be precise. When you first go into doing it, you think everything has to be exact, it has to be meticulously planned, but it's not. It's live radio. Yeah,
it's strange because I've listened to sometimes stuff where I've listened to it live through Mixcloud and things, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't sound right, and then I listen to the recording and I'm like, oh, what's going on? You know, it definitely didn't sound right there, but actually it was fine. And it is interesting because the environment you're in evolves. You know, I've talked to people like, you know, playing an outdoor venue like a beach bar versus a small bar was a big venue and things. The sound So you got to again tune your ears a little bit to those environments. Yeah, you got to monitor and stuff, but it's not still the same in the size of the room you're in and things. And then I think, you know, like you mentioned, back to back is, you know, there's a variety of people. I really enjoy it because I love being back to back with people and then bouncing with each other. Oh, what are they going to play? Oh, cool. I'm going to play this. Oh, what's that? That's a wicked tune and stuff. I've enjoyed some back to back sessions with people, and again that shows the passion of music you have and your understanding of music. You know, I feel like I'm in a comfortable place where I'm like, I don't need to put much structure to it because I know my music, and that's an important part. Like a vinyl, right? We used to play it all the time. We know it inside out to a certain degree. But again, now with my playlist and crates that I've got on Serato that I use mainly, are we going, oh, I remember that gig I played at, you know, Bison Beach Bar, one of the beach bars I played, and there's a wicked tune. Right, okay, let me find that. And things, again, there's a connection. It's like a spider web.
I sometimes find, right, when I'm trying to put together, say I want to design a show for Codesouth.
Yeah.
Where to start? So I'll probably order the key that it's in my playlist and see which tempos are the same in that key, and I might then create a folder with all of those so I know that they're the same key and the same tempo. And that's how I started doing it.
Yeah.
Because I was scared of just not doing it that way.
Right.
Yeah. I knew that when I went into the studio and started mixing out the show, that it's all gonna pretty much be about the same tempo and in the same key. It's going to work together.
Yeah.
Yeah. So all you then really need to be doing is having a look at where you're going to be mixing it in, how you're going to mix it in, how many 4-beat loops you want at the end or the beginning, that kind of thing on each track. But after a while, it just started to fit. When I listen back to my shows, it all just seemed one level.
Okay.
Because there's no change in it, and I know the importance of being able to transpose a key. You know, I played a piano, you know, so I played classical music. So I know that music has to have variety in it.
Yeah,
and if it hasn't, it's not going to create any like sensory, you know, connections.
Yeah.
So I've stopped doing that now.
Okay.
Well, I've tried to stop doing it.
Yeah.
And I just try and find tunes that, you know, if the beats aren't going to quite work going into it, it's got to have some kind of nice floaty intro that I can push in at the right place.
Right.
So it sounds, and then drop the beat out and the next beat comes in and it's all floaty in the middle.
Yeah.
There's so many different ways of going about doing that. But what I find, the other thing that I find about that is that doing it that way, you stop thinking about what you want to play for the music. You're thinking about what you want to play to make it easy for yourself to DJ it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And then you lose track of yourself, of what journey you're creating, because you're just creating a journey that works rather than something you really want to put out there.
Yeah, I've had those. So typically what I try and do nowadays is I make sure I've got my first few tracks that I know I'm going to play. And then there's times where I think I'm playing and I get a bit nervous, anxious, not willing to take a risk on stuff. You know, I'm like, oh, and sometimes I play something and think, oh, that's not going to work. Whereas I think, I'm trying to remember the DJ's name, he said, fundamentally, if you had two records, you should be, it doesn't matter what it is, you should be able to mix it as such, and things. But yeah, I think once I start to relax, I think people start to see the flow you're in, and then you're like in the groove. Your whole body movement slightly different and things.
Yeah.
I'm always moving. I'm not still and stuff, and it just shows because I'm really enjoying the music. You know, I enjoy dancing and things, and again, people are watching you. They're dancing and they're listening to music, but they're also watching you. And if you could add that to what they're experiencing, then you've got, you know, they've had a great experience. So
absolutely. So Vas, you're a very, very interesting person, and we could talk all night, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure there's loads more conversations we're going to be having.
Yeah.
But before we play your mix out, tell us a little bit more about your show at Codesouth FM.
Yeah, so as I mentioned, I was approached by the gentleman and legend Adam Bangtidy. He's well known in Brighton, and we've known each other for years, clubbing, and then he started DJing. I used to listen to some of his radio shows and things, and you know, he knew I was sort of coming back into it. He also did some open decks events that gave us an opportunity to DJ and play and stuff, and that helped a little bit of that paving that step to the next part, because oh wow, who's this guy? Oh, I like the stuff he plays, and then when you start to bring that connection of what your background is, it helps that those you know, people are doing events and things. So I was about to start that journey, and then Adam spoke to the Varney brothers, who I always listen to their show and everything, and I keep telling them that, you know, I listen to always your show because I loved it and stuff, and they were like, what, you really? I said, yeah. So for me to have them DJ, to be part of their show or our show, it's a real privilege, because, you know, I was inspired by the music they play and stuff. So the Varney DJs, obviously they were vinyl and stuff, been in Codesouth for a very long time. And then we got Paul Hilditch as well, very talented DJ. Again, I've met him over the years and stuff, heard him play, his technical ability, knowledge and everything. So I'm very fortunate that I initially was going to do a radio show, and I was a bit, I'm not sure, nerves and everything. And Adam gave me that, you know, opportunity to play and come along with him and stuff. But then to also play a show with others that, you know, I respect and everything, and I always tell them, well, you know, I highly respect you guys and things. I've learnt so much from them and things. So it's first Friday of each month, Friday night house party, 6 to 8, and it's disco, funky, jacking, house, and you know, we get a good crowd of people on that. Like I say, I've learnt so much over the last couple of years. Very nervous on the mic and the initial thing, and obviously the guys talk about the tracks and stuff, because your focus is on the mixing. Yeah. Now I really enjoy being in the Codesouth studio. I did a Christmas show for 4.5 hours or something like that.
Awesome. Just
in the groove, people interacting. You know, I start to feel really comfortable. So we do that once a month. As I say, the others have got responsibility kids and things like that. So we just did that. And then I think sometimes when there's a slot that sometimes come available, then Paul was always up for coming along and playing and stuff. But yeah, you know, I respect a lot of DJs and things that I play with. It's interesting because I had a friend, I was meant to see him play DJ, and I was standing there and I highly respected him, and he said, "Oh, I'm a bit nervous." I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you're there and you're you know, watching me and stuff." Mate, I look up to you. You know, you're more skilled DJ. You know, I've seen him play, does open format stuff, and it's like, wow. You know, when they play with the next track and keeping that energy. So yeah, it's good that, you know, you respect one another. Yeah. And you know, there's a bit of like, oh, you know, you're better than me, but not in a respectful way.
It's good. You can big yourselves up, give yourselves the confidence, and it's mutual respect, and that's what it's all about. And it should be like that. It doesn't matter what stage we're at, because we all have to start somewhere. Yeah. And we all have to get to somewhere. And who's to say that person's any better than somebody else? It just depends on the person listening to it. To be fair, you know, they're the judgment people, aren't they? The ones that can hear it and you're playing to. Yeah. I've got great respect for everybody at Codesouth. It's such a good radio station, and like I was saying to you, I've not really said to the audience yet, is that I was listening to Codesouth 20 years ago when I worked in Hove, when it was a pirate radio station, and it was exciting to be listening to a pirate radio station, not just all the commercial stuff you hear on the normal radio stations.
There's a lot of talented people. Like, honestly, I keep coming across like this, I don't know, 80, 90 DJs or something like that, I think, you know, just something like that, group chat. Yeah. And obviously they have their own different shows, they've got their own different styles, and I've been to some of the events where I hear some of the other DJs, and again, it's that passion and things, and even some of the newbies that are coming in, that you can see the passion in them. And you know, the good thing is to connect with people, because there's a lot of people that help here. You know, you sort of connect with people and say, "Oh, come on, why don't you come around my house and, you know, have a play on this,
do a podcast."
Yeah. So yeah, no, it's a good family. You know, helps one another, can have a bit of a laugh and things. It's great when we see each other at events, because obviously there's quite a few Codesouth events.
So there's the event at the Freemason. You do that?
Yes, yeah. So this weekend I'm actually in Worthing on Friday at the Beach House. So I'm with a very talented guy called Stephen James. He produces and things. He plays on Deep Radio. So I'm looking forward to that. And then Saturday I'm at the Freemasons Late to the Disco event, which is doing really well. It's been growing and growing.
Is there anything that's coming up that's a little bit further in the distance? Give me a chance to make this podcast and then advertise that.
Do you know, I'm sort of busy for the next 6 months with various events, DJing and stuff, and things. There's stuff that I'm doing at Bison Beach Bar as well. So that's going to be like on the Saturdays. I'm not sure if you're aware that I've got a split screen camper, which doesn't have a roof.
I've seen that. The VW, is it purple, is it?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you gigged out of the back of that?
Yes. Yeah, I've taken it to Bison Beach Bar. I'm doing the Brighton Marathon event at their other venue called Babel. So Impulse Buy last year, I was like, this is really cool.
Next time you do a gig in one of them, I want to come
as
well.
Yeah.
I was talking to a chap about, well, in fact, have you seen the big green D&B party bus?
No, I haven't.
Oh, well, I'm going to send you a link.
Okay.
I did an interview last year with a chap who lives in a big bus.
Okay.
And where they keep the luggage compartments, he kitted it out with big speakers. He visited Brighton recently.
You lift it out?
Yeah.
I think I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah, come across it.
I saw it. I thought, it's just so cool. And I've been on the bus, and I haven't played it on it, but I've watched dude play on it, and it's a good sound system. Yeah.
It's good to have that uniqueness. I'm impulse buy on certain things, and I'm like, well, this is not the norm. I like to be a little bit different, quirky and stuff. I've got some good friends who've got an ice cream van called Metal Grooves. Wicked van. The only disappointing thing, it doesn't sell ice cream. That's the only thing. It's like, come on, there's got to be a $1.99 whippy and stuff.
That's a shame.
But I think that's the thing. It's about nowadays, because there's so many events, DJs and stuff. You've got to create that little bit of that USP, what makes it unique. Yes, I'm playing at Bison Beach Bar, I'm playing at Big Beach, and there's quite a lot of DJs don't get it quite right. They go too heavy, too hard and things, and then they wonder, why am I not going back there? And you've got to adapt your style a little bit to the audience as well. What's the sort of crowd you're going? I have to say, sometimes I've been surprised at Big Beach Caf, and I've had people, and I wasn't expecting them to like the sort of style of music, and they went, this is bloody amazing. Yeah. When are you playing next? I want to come back again, because they've just come across it. So I think there's a bit of, when you're observing people, don't quickly, sometimes you have a perception, think, I bet they like drum and bass and things, but actually there's quite a lot of people like quite a wide range of music.
Yeah, I'm always surprised by the generations of the age group that is listening to my mixes. Yeah. When I see it online, the majority of people listening to my stuff are 45 to 65.
Got you.
Maybe slightly going over the edge. And in fact, it tells you the gender nowadays as well. So male and female, and followers and non-followers. Yeah. And I'm getting a lot of people that don't non-gender, not male or female anyway. Yeah. That's all it comes up as something else. Yeah. I've noticed that that's grown as well. It's quite interesting to see. The thing is, a lot of the people that we consider to be old were the people that were here at the beginning of the scene, and that's the way it is now. So it is always quite bizarre. But I think it's the young people that find it bizarre, because they think it's only young people that like music.
Yeah, I think what you've got is there is. I went to an event in Essex, and I'm trying to remember the name, and these kids were like amazed at us, and because it was I'm trying to remember now. Armin Van Helden playing a track, and we were like, yay. And they were like, oh my God, how old are you guys? Oh yeah, I'm in my 40s, my mates are in their 50s and stuff. And we were saying, this when this first came out and stuff like that. But there are kids that are influenced by their parents, If you think about parents playing house music and things, or rave music or whatever. Yeah. And it's good that, they're not following, how do I say it, the social trend as such, or drum bass. Drum bass is quite big and the various events that go on, but actually there's quite a lot of them that actually they've been influenced by their parents' music experience and knowledge and stuff.
So I had DJ Josie Tab on.
Yes.
And she just did a guest mix series on Dance Attack FM as well. And her family, her father and her uncle were DJs when she was growing up. They've
Right.
always had it around, and it was inevitable that they were going to become DJs.
Yeah.
But it's what you're saying, you know, they were influenced by their parents.
Yeah.
In that way, and some of the stuff she plays actually is very, very good.
Yeah.
So, and she says she gets a lot of it from her dad. You know, the stuff that kids their age aren't actually listening to.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So, Vas, thanks very much for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
No, it's my pleasure. We're going to hear one of your mixes now, and I'm hoping that you're also. I think we'll do a half an hour mix if you're happy with that.
Yep.
So we're going to hear a half an hour mix from you now, and you promise to come on my Submix Sessions guest mix series, do you?
Yes. Yeah. More than
Excellent.
happy to.
So everybody, you can look forward to an hour-long mix for that, and it'll be out very soon. Is there somewhere people can see listen to your music?
Yeah, so Mixcloud, DJ Vas. Obviously Instagram, Nice Guy Vas. I post a lot of stuff on Instagram. It's a good platform to share stuff and things. They're the two main areas, I would say to have a look. But yeah, if you go to my Instagram, you'll be able to see how to connect to my Mixcloud and things. Yeah.
Okay, one last thing then before we go. In a sentence, what's your message to the world?
Oh, God.
It's a hard one, that.
Yeah. Look, I'm even crying now a little bit. I've been through a lot in life, and I never change anything. Real tough times, real low times and stuff, and music's been great, for me and people I've met on the journey and stuff. So do embrace it, connect with people, talk to people. Even people go through mental health and stuff and things. It's so important, and it really lifts your spirits up. We were saying about the energy and things. So if it's not music, embrace it. If you're passionate about it, go for it. And we're all learning, right?
Absolutely.
We're influenced by the conversation I'm having with yourself and things and others. So
We learn something every day, don't we?
Yeah.
We do. Never stop learning. Stay positive.
Yes.
Right, well, look, ladies and gentlemen, Nice Guy Vas, DJ Nice Guy Vas, an absolute legend. He's played in front of 50,000 people in one set. Can you believe that? Right, it's an absolute pleasure to know you. And as I always end my shows and my podcast, peace, love, and loud music.
Exclusive sounds on Behind the Decks.
you, hold it, now it's yours. If you feel it in your soul, follow the light, go through the storm.
What makes you journey into the night and take flight on a pursuit of musical bliss? Chasing beats through ghetto streets to a dungeonous temple left by our soul descendants in a quest for peace, energy, and light. If you would find this temple, do you have the knowledge to enter the temple? Do you want it? And if you had it, would you flaunt it? Well, it's yours.
Floating, kind of flowing, soaring through your world. There's a fire burn within you, hold it, now it's yours. If you feel it in your soul, follow the light, go through the storm.
Acquiring entrance to the temple is hard but fair. Trek through God-forsaken elements because the reward is well worth the journey. Stay steadfast in your pursuit of the light. The light is knowledge. Do you want it? And if you had it, would you flaunt it?
Kind of flowing, soaring through your world. There's a fire burn within you, hold it, now it's yours. If you feel it in your soul, follow the light, go through the storm.
You've stayed true to your quest, so let the beauty that is the musical universe engulf you. Recharge your spirit, purify your mind, touch your soul, and
I'll house you. Girl, I'll house you. Girl, I'll house you. You in my hut now, mama. Girl, I'll house you. Girl, I'll house you. Girl, I'll house you. You in my hut now. When you're in my hut, you know what's up. Let your mind be free. Relax your body. Jump, jump a little higher. Jump, jump until you get tired. How's your body? How's your body? How's your body to the mix? I'll sit all over the place. So don't let nobody in your way. Tonight's your night, today's your day. Africa will steer you wrong. Say what? House music all night long. 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 I house you, don't you know? I house you, don't you know that? I house you, you in my hut now. Don't you know that? I house you, don't you know? I house you, yo. I house you, you in my hut now.
Behind the Decks podcast, Submix Sessions with Ed Paterson.